Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Spider Society and also the current war season that are buffing Hero Spider-Verse characters and other city hero allies. Now, this is primarily going to be focusing on Spider Society. We're going to be taking a look at some of the clips, but also some of the war history that has happened in the last 24 hours in my alliance and going over how nutty some of this stuff really is, because this war season is off to a bang, I guess. I don't know what I was about to say, but it's really crazy how much these characters are being buffed. If you saw the thumbnail, like, I'm not even joking, that some of the power levels on this team can hit sky high rocket levels. I've seen Ghost Spiders that are like over 1 million power with the buffs and stuff that they're getting this season. It's absolutely insane. So if you're ready to see this and more, then let's boil this down. All right, and so to start things off here, we'll do it pretty easy. And there's this here, Apocalypse Secret Defenders against Spider Society. Now, it's 2.9 million to 4.1 million, and honestly, you're probably not going to be really surprised by the results of this. And I think that's what we're starting to see here is with this beefy ass Spider Societies and making it a little bit easier by using Apocalypse, who obviously nullifies Safeguard on spawn. And I think that's some of the biggest, I mean, aside from their massive stats, which is scary, by the way. If you've run into anything above 4 million and tried to fight it with less meta teams, it's not that fun. So, right off the bat, nullifying the Safeguard makes a big difference in these fights. But you can see, like, the amount of buffs that they spawn with is pretty nuts. And, if it was... I don't know if you saw that. It's too late. I don't know if you saw that, but Apocalypse took a shit ton of damage on the first turn by Spider-Man Noir. It was absolutely insane. So right off the bat there, going in with the Falcon punch there on Peter B, and it didn't even kill him. Like, that's how much health and like how much stats these guys have on war defense, that the Falcon punch from Apocalypse did not kill Peter B. So now eventually he did die with a combination of attacks from Apocalypse, Ghost Rider, and Miss Marvel, but it's honestly shocking like how much they take from just one character. Now, I probably would have done that actually on Penny, because I think that Penny's actually a big problem. That and the counters, the retaliates from Ghost Spider is pretty massive as well. So this kind of like falls apart eventually. Without Peter B, honestly, it's probably that helps significantly and is who I would target first in these sort of situations. But it just goes to show that even with Apocalypse, like, they do some pretty scary damage. If you like, that was a regular retaliate of almost 1 million damage. So I mean, if you're not careful with going up against these characters, they're gonna really give you a run for your money. I just wanted to start with this because I thought it was pretty insane how much damage they initially did to Apocalypse. And yeah, I think a lot of people who don't want to use some of the other teams, Mercs for money or whatever, might just kind of save their Apocalypse for this. And so I think that if you have Apocalypse on defense, I would definitely pull him off, because this is a more defensive Alliance War meta that you're going to need some of these characters to use. And I'm not actually going to go into the replay on this one, but this is no surprise. Like, I've seen this not only in my alliance, but I've seen it with other people as well talking about it, that yes, obviously using Mercs for money against Spider Society is probably, outside of Apocalypse, is going to be your best bet. But I would caution about this, at least in about a month's time, because they're also going to be probably one of the biggest counters to Alpha Flight, given that, you have a legendary... Old Man Logan's just insane, right? Like we see some crazy punch-ups. I've done a 3 million punch-up with just Old Man Logan and Deathpool and, like, some pretty weak-ass other characters. A 3 million punch-up against, like, scroll combos, it's insane. Like, so Mercs for Money is obviously, and without a doubt, Apex War offense meta, and so they are going to crush teams like Spider Society and things like that. But I think that when Alpha Flight gets fully built, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And again, like I said, you're probably going to want to consider pulling possibly both Super Skrull and Apocalypse off your war defense, and then just settle for a more offensive meta where it's all about clearing. Because if Spider Society starts, getting 5+ defense victories, right, that's going to make a big difference if, a lot of your alliance members are doing this. So it's better to be able to full clear and be able to clear without too many difficulties than to let defense victories stack up. So that's just my thoughts, anyways. And so definitely by next war, I'll be pulling a lot of my characters that reevaluating my defense, specifically the high meta characters like Apocalypse and Super Skrull. If you guys haven't already, I would consider pulling them off. And because this wouldn't be a video without me showing off my own stupidity, I do want to talk about this Gamma versus Spider Society here. Now, yes, it was a 1 million punch up. I'm not going to disagree there. But, it kind of shows that, fortunately, Gamma is falling off in terms of their ability. Now, I heard that, well, this can be done without the buffs. This doesn't really help for the season particularly. And the biggest issue that I had when using Gamma was actually that they all took their turns first, believe it or not. And I was just getting constantly retaliated by a Ghost Spider. And, I kind of I thought, hey, let's just go for getting down Peter B, right? Like, we're trying. But you can see, like, how it barely did any damage. And they're just healing. And look how much damage, like, Hulk takes from that. And then the assists. And it's just really crazy at the end of the day here. And then Hulk, like, falls over like it's nothing, honestly. He's getting his death proofs pinged. Also, Pavitra just does a shit ton of damage. The rebounds, and I wanted to put this on 2x so you could actually see this. The rebounds are insane. And once he gets to his ult, actually, so Hulk's already dead. And we're at 4 charges. It doesn't even matter. Like, I don't even get to Red Hulk's ultimate. I tried to, copy all of those buffs. That would really help, right? I would think. And it didn't really make much of a difference. I stunned Penny. I don't even know if that was the best move or not. I probably should have. I think it's because Penny didn't have any deflex, and I thought maybe it would get blocked by Pavitra over there. But he ends up, like, basically kicking my shit in here. And with the alt, is that the alt there? No, his alt's coming up pretty soon. And there's just so much damage across the board. And, like, with the slows and things like that, it's really not good. They actually don't even get hit enough times for me to chuck those debuffs back. You can see that She-Hulk is actually on 3 charges. I think it is about to die as well here. But, like, there's just so many extra damage, and they just hit so hard that there's just no opportunity. The damage that Ghost Spider does is absolutely insane. We have the ult here from Pavitra, and it just rebounds back and forth, and it goes across, like, lines. If you notice, it went from here, from Abomination over to Red Hulk, so it does cross over. Like, it doesn't have to be adjacent. It just jumps around. It's absolutely insane. Rebound attacks have just been a lot stronger than they've ever been. And so Pavitra as a character, his damage is just through the roof. And I believe that he might have had offense down when he did that, and he still kicked the shit out of my characters. And that's the end of Gamma. So you don't want to try that, or at least maybe you could do it a punch across, but you definitely can't punch up. So that's my experiences there. Might not want to give that one a go. And I know that this is not a Hive Mind video by any means, but I also just want to give a heads up that you might want to reconsider how you normally would go up against Hive Mind, because they are going to get buffed. Specifically, Void Knight and Gwenom as Hero Spider-Verse characters are going to have that safeguard on spawn and all the buffs. So this might change things a little bit differently if you're used to going up against them. It could be a little bit tougher now. Traditionally, what I do, and I know, like, again, not the foremost expert on Alliance War, but I would actually do a mirror match with Hive Mind, and I would use Kang instead of Venom. And that would just push my characters ahead. I would aim at trying to kill Red Goblin so no revives take place. I would use the Void Knight alt on Void Knight so he doesn't do it back at me, and then go for killing Red Goblin. That's typically what I did anyways. Let me know if you have a better solution. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of this. Not to call out any particular Alliance members or anything like that, but something that you might want to be aware of. You can see that they go back in there with Apocalypse. Actually, that was probably not necessary. It probably should have been saved for something like Spider Society or something worse. But anyways, just wanted to share that there. I also wanted to use this opportunity to talk about my alliance mate Wink32. This was his Spider Society team before things in Alliance War the rooms started falling down. So basically, when a full carrier is around 5.4 million, this was the team here. Now I want to show you in game. It's actually not that high. It's now down to 3.7 million. And I think part of the reason for this is, like, that's a huge difference, right? And it goes to show, and the reason why I'm showing this is it goes to show, like, how much some of these rooms actually make a difference. Yes, I realize that I'm recording this during Alliance War. So things like the Armory, which gives you 20% primary stats to all defending war-ready allies and an extra 20% to war-ready city heroes. So that's 40% to defending city hero allies for any room that's adjacent to the armory, which is reason why I have this kind of somewhat in the middle with it being able to go stretch out to the other rooms. I think that makes sense, especially with the current war boss with the hero Spider Verse specifically as well. So for Spider Society, and that makes up the huge difference. So as soon as you see the armory in Alliance War, make sure you take that out because it's going to make a significant difference on the stats that you're going to see on Spider Society teams. In the realm of like over 1,000,000 power could make a big difference. So unfortunately, the reason why I wanted to bring that up was because, well, I was hoping that maybe they'd attack this room because this was some of the biggest Spider Societies that we have. He's actually the highest in the Alliance, I'm pretty sure, and I was wanting to get some footage on that, but unfortunately, we didn't get there yet. And I have a feeling that a lot of people actually didn't put up Spider Society up on their defense. So I'm going to have to get on my alliance about that. But that's another story. So if your alliance hasn't done that yet because you're war casual like we are, make sure you still convince people to get that up because this is going to be the strongest team this season. It's just absolutely insane. But we do have some more Spider Society to show off anyways here. And so this was a 3.8 million at the time for Metropolis in my alliance, who then used a combination. Like, look at this. A combination of Old Man Logan, Skrull, APOC, Spider Weaver, Dormammu. Absolutely insane. Probably crushed it. Unfortunately, and I don't know why, sometimes the replays are very, like, sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't, which is really annoying. I'm checking this actually before war ends, and I don't know why it doesn't show. It's kind of annoying because I wish I would be able to actually see some of this. There was the same team being attempted by New Avengers at 2.2 million and it just didn't happen. There is a G19 Penny Parker though, so that I don't know, maybe that could have been part of it. I wish I would have been able to actually check that out, but alas, I am not. So there was no exhaust on that team when it was beaten by that, just an FYI. And that was a fair bit of a punch up. But I guess it just proves again that a lot of people are going to opt to use Apocalypse to deal with this because of the on-spawn safeguard. And even that, based on the previous footage that you saw, is not a for sure thing either. While we're on the topic of spiders, I thought this one was kind of interesting. I wish I could have seen this too. 2.5 million Secret Defenders losing against Hive Mind of 3.5 million. Yes, super buffed, and actually Gwenum's almost 1,000,000 power here. But a lot of this has to do with, I believe at that time, probably the armory was still up, buffing characters more like a Gwenum and Void Knight. So yeah, quite insane. Some of these things that I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen any crazy sort of combat cancels or attacks in general, because I think this season is just going to be really something else. Again, usually I don't care about Alliance War, but it's just this one's much crazier than I think last season with like the buffs to new warriors, in my opinion. And actually, they're city heroes, so there's if you really wanted to put them on defense, they're actually going to get additional buffs from rooms like the armory as well. Another Mercs for money counter here, 2.1 million against 3.75 million Spider Society. I don't think any of this was really in question. So if you have like a 1.5 million plus Mercs for money, I think a lot of the legwork is being done by Old Man Logan. But nonetheless, there's going to be some huge punch up potential against Spider Society. So I think like, the TLDR of this video is really Mercs for money, I think is doing really, really well against these teams. And Apocalypse hybrids, I think it's a bit excessive using characters like Super Skrull and Old Man Logan on top of Apocalypse. I don't think that's necessary. I think that you could probably get away with just using Apocalypse and some other reasonably meta team, in combination, I think would really help. But that's just me. Let me know if you've had any other issues. I don't have Nowhere, so I'm not sure if that works or not. Let me know if that actually counters Spider Society. I would like to know. I haven't seen any so far in today's Alliance War about that, though. Here's another interesting thing, although, so I find this one pretty funny, and I just wanted to throw this in here into this video anyways. But people using the Web Warriors team, so I really don't recommend this. I feel like you probably should be just using Spider Society, but this is a demo 3017 of my alliance who's using the old traditional Web Warriors here at G16 and Ghost Spider at like a whopping G18 1 million power. But the fact that I'm assuming most of this is from Ghost Spider Retaliates, but nonetheless, almost beating a Darkhold team with Doctor Strange literally just hanging in there, I thought was pretty funny, and I just wanted to share this one with you too. And this one might be the most interesting punch up that I have seen, possibly with Mercs for money. Just throwing this in here really quick as well. A 1 million, pretty weak all things considered. G16, low G16 here on Panda Pool. and Dawkin here beating a 2.7 million Spider Society. Again, not surprising. We've talked about this Mercs for Money already, meta Apex team. But Old Man Logan's only like 1.7 or 170k. And so that was pretty low. Like he's not even maxed out or anything like that. So yeah, it is definitely doable with the punch up at least to the 2 to 2.5x ratios. Just to keep that in mind for everyone else. Oh, I finally actually got to it. So I finally found something like I don't know at what point in the video this is going to be shown, but anyways, here is a 3.5 million Spider Society combat cancel against a nowhere of 2.8 million. That's a very big nowhere team, and I'm so mad that I can't see the replays, it seems, on defenses. I can see it on offenses, but for some reason the defense ones aren't showing up. Let me know if you've had some issues with this. I might have to report this and see if I can get this resolved, because I'm pretty sure that they're maybe it's not, even if it's not a combat cancel, like it's still not showing the replay. So I'm not really sure why that's happening, but regardless, I don't know. Let me know if this was user error. Have you been able to use Nowhere against Spider Society and win? I actually haven't. I don't think I've seen anything in the war today where Nowhere's actually beat Spider Society. So let me know if they can or not, or what your experiences using them are. Well, I mean, this one's interesting. So it does seem that Sinister Six, at least with the the Sinister Six with Vulture, anyways, is able to beat Spider Society here. I think a lot of though, especially when you have Lizard, right? Like, there's a good way to do additional stuff to Hero Spider-Verse characters, things like that. Lizard gets to go first, probably there, but they won't be able to like get rid of the buffs because they'll all spawn with Safeguard. Nonetheless, it seems like this does work. So if you do need another team against Spider Society, it seems that Sinister Six works, at least across. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get a huge punch up. Let me know what kind of punch ups you've been able to do with this team. Mercs for Money, of course, and Apocalypse Hybrid teams seem to do it. There's another one up here, actually, from A Street. So this was, again, with the Super Scroll and Secret Defenders, I'm pretty sure you could have done this without the Super Scroll, but I think people are being abundantly cautious because this is kind of new. But this is what I'm seeing right now. I don't think that was probably necessary. I think the maybe if you use Ghost Rider in here instead would have been okay too. But that's just what I'm seeing so far. So, I mean, what can I say about Spider Society? Just an absolutely nutty team here on Alliance War defense. If you haven't done this with your alliance, make sure you get on top of people to set them on your war defense. And specifically, if you have very large uh, people with very large teams bordering that armory room, that's going to make a significant difference. Like I said, if you put armory somewhere in the middle and then have 10 people, 10 different people in the rooms that are adjacent and within the armor, you're going to get significant bonuses in Alliance War. Again, not some. I very rarely do Alliance War videos at all. I just wanted to take a look at what was going on with some of the wars that my alliance is going up against and what kind of things that I'm kind of seeing right now. This is a crazy team. I've invested in them quite heavily. I'm about to bump up Spider-Man Noir to level 100. I plan on taking a bunch of these to Dark Dimension 7 as well. I have the unique equipped to Spider-Man Pavitra, and I'm probably going to get Peter B. Parker and probably Noir soon. So again, crazy, crazy team. We're going to be seeing this for the next 2 months in Alliance War. Things are going to get even nuttier when Alpha Flight is finished, because then you're going to have to really decide who you're using your meta war offense teams to beat Spider Society or Alpha Flight going forward. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. Let me know about your thoughts in the comments down below and what kind of experiences that you've had with this, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So, Boilon signing out.